We're back with some Halo Wars 2. This is the 2v2, and as you can just see what's happened, the lobby for some reason is making the gamer cards jump. So in a minute it'll jump again and there'll be a little bit more space between them, and then I'm pretty sure it jumps back to like no space again, just to have a watch for the real subtle movement in the gamer card. I'm not 100% sure why it does that. To me it's a static screen bar the loading thing, so not sure if they even are aware or if after a certain amount of time you just move, if that's how like poorly things have started to be coded. Not too sure. Anyway, at the end of this video I'm going to come back and post some music from that opening so you can listen to, because with headphones on it legitimately sounds like there's something wrong or there's someone in the background that'll be walking around your place. And that's not cool, taking your headphones off thinking there's people like lurking about. Just jumping back to the footage, as you could see when it sort of was loading in, it loaded but then it like went back to a black screen and had to reload a second time to start the warm-up 15-second countdown. Now, that's just fucking dumb, man. I don't know why you guys are loading twice. Maybe it's just a beta bug, not too sure. Anyway, this gameplay, I decided to go with the Elites. I'm not sure if that's what they're called in this game mode, but I actually wanted to try and give all the different classes a go just to see if there was much difference. And I was really happy. The yellow that it's rendered out, the color yellow, I was really happy with. Like, to me that looks really cool. It was one of the only colors I actually like in the game, because if you have a look at the color scheme in the 3v3 video that'll be posted tomorrow, it's terrible. You've got basically two teams with three different colors, but I'll talk about that then. In this specific gameplay, I just wanted to talk more about how the game doesn't work when you have more than like a 1v1, and how there's still problems with basic shit like the stuttering of the gameplay, the lack of ability right now on screen to identify myself like to the enemy players. It's just very uninviting and a lot harder to recognize who's who. So right now we've got yellow and red, and then like a light blue and a dark blue, and all your players are meant to be circled, and you've got the mini-map in the bottom right, and then you got these cards kind of half covering everything because they're so fucking high on the screen. Then when you click the left trigger they go even higher, and then it stutters like it just did. It's just fucked, man. Like, whoever's designing shit at the moment, I honestly believe it's because what's happened is all the fucking teachers and lecturers and people that were teaching about design were passionate about it, because back before, like, you know, the internet sort of became a popular thing, design wasn't, it was a key ingredient that you focused on if you were passionate about it, so you taught yourself. Now it feels like every kind of person doesn't either teach design, or the lecturers have all gone off and cashed in on the fucking, you know, smartphone market, and all these people that are learning design now don't genuinely give a fuck, or they're too lazy to actually care. There's just so much to do with design in games recently that is so badly done. It's like they're employing people that have just graduated and couldn't give two flying fucks. And I mean, it's their company, so they fucking should. They're the ones making this final product. They should care. And quite often you'll see in a company, one person went to like extra effort, and you can tell with little things that they designed, but then the person that was, you know, in charge of the bigger design of the whole aspect or whatever just didn't give a fuck. It's one of my biggest frustrations with games in more recent times, is design of basic user interface shit. It's terrible. Again, you've got more stuttering in the game. But I wanted to talk in this one a little bit more about how kind of the battles are working. 2v2 was my preferred mode out of the 2v2, 3v3 and 1v1. Just because in 2v2 there was a little bit more going on. It felt like each player was kind of going to push to a base, or each player was going to try and engage a little bit more. 1v1 sometimes you just end up with big standoffs, and in 3v3 it was very much one team would always be winning. But we'll talk about 3v3 tomorrow. But 2v2 I was actually kind of enjoying if it was, 2v2 and it wasn't a game mode called Blitz that's slower than a wet week. Partly because in 2v2, you both could help each other and you could both, so one person could go to A, one could go to C, and you could both help on B. Or as you can see, we kind of were just dominating these guys, so we just held C and B and just kept building shit. Another little thing with this is there was some bullshit that happens if you build a unit out in the middle of the fucking world, like, these units that are running back now. If you build a unit out there, they're weak for like 6 seconds and they lose extra health or some other bullshit like that. But if you build them at the base, they're completely safe. So there's a few little things like that obviously you'll need to play the game to get used to, as far as, what works and what doesn't work. And you can see here's where I was going, okay, we've got some units over there, let's go and put some more up here. You just play it a bit more like a strategy game. And the other thing that's a little bit fucking weird is when you've selected your units and it gives you the option when you're attacking them to press X or Y. Sometimes you've selected all your units on the screen. Now that's well thought out. All your units on screen are right bumper. All units, if you want to then hold right bumper, you can select all units. So something like that was at least included to make it nice. But in saying that, sometimes it felt like the unit you built, you automatically wanted selected and it wasn't, so then you had to you'd already moved some units and you had to go back and pick up the one that wasn't moving and move him to where you wanted to go. I felt it was very, as far as that element goes, very unrewarding, unfulfilling, because like all these units I've just put over here now, they don't kind of take any form, they don't take any real order. It's just there's a big group of them. Maybe you can change how they are if you could be bothered selecting them all individually, but there was no real that I found anyway. Maybe it's to do with the D-pad. It didn't make it obvious that you could line them up in an order, or have all your small units at the front and your bigger ones at the back. It just felt very much of like a clusterfuck. Here's everything, it's all there, kind of go for it. So in that regard, again, it could be much better designed. It could be, it could work more fluently, but it just doesn't. So there's certain little things in the actual gameplay itself that are very fucking frustrating. And again, Victory, see how it cuts and then it stutters, and unrewarding, man. This was a quicker video and I'm going to jump straight to the 3v3 one because I'm more interested and there's a lot more to talk about in the 3v3. I just wanted you guys to see a quick 2v2 mode with the elites where it doesn't actually cut the game out. There you go. As promised, I figured I'd better include the audio background music just so you guys can listen to if you've got some headphones or if you've got speakers that are, 5.1 or whatever. It might give you an idea of actually the kind of sound that you're hearing, but then it sounds, if you listen for long enough, like there's actually people walking around or someone's talking or a dog barks or, whatever. So there's definitely something up with the sound. And before I start the sound, that'll be it. I won't say anything else. So when you want to stop watching the video, just stop. Hopefully you listen to the sound for a little bit and get an idea. Catch you in the 3v3.
Never have I witnessed such complete destruction of a foe!